Guys, Fantastic Four First Steps is the movie of the most complex family in Marvel, whether it's in terms of character complexities, drama, sci-fi, so there's a lot of detail to discuss here. References to the comics, power, secrets, there's a lot we need to talk about, and for sure the MCU will never be the same after this film. It's the kind of explainer video you need to watch to understand everything, so let's dive into another mega analysis complete with spoilers. The main universe of Marvel movies is the 616, where the sacred timeline takes place, and basically all Marvel movies happen in this universe except for Fantastic Four First Steps, which is set in Universe 828. It's a movie you don't need to watch any previous releases from Marvel to understand everything that's going on. It's a tightly woven story, and the film opens by introducing this new universe that knows and admires the Fantastic Four. In this new universe, the Fantastic Four are known as the only major heroes, and because of that, they end up dictating everything that happens in the world, solving problems on the planet and dealing with emerging threats. In other words, they have a strong presence in everything that happens in the world, not just saving people from alien threats and supervillains. In this film, the UN responds to the Fantastic Four, and Sue Storm is the character responsible for maintaining political relations and being the bridge between nations. She's the one who manages to close a diplomatic deal between the surface world and the underground world ruled by Mole Man. On the other hand, Reed is responsible for bringing any technological advances to the world. He solves the world's problems with his technology. When Reed says the world needs to conserve energy to save the planet from Galactus, everyone pitches in and starts rationing electricity. So this world ends up being that ideal perfect world where everyone collaborates for the greater good. It's a worldview straight out of the 60s, a perspective shaped by the space race, which was a major influence on the creation of the Fantastic Four. They're astronaut heroes. The film handles these concepts incredibly well, adapting them seamlessly by blending elements from our own 60s world with the concepts and aesthetics of the comics from that era. It's an impressive result, and the film pays a great tribute to what the classic Fantastic Four comics from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are all about. This makes us want to see more of this universe than even the 616 MCU universe itself. The team dynamics are really well portrayed in the film, and one of the big wins that First Steps had was showing all the members of the Fantastic Four as useful. They all have academic backgrounds and work alongside Reed, contributing to the plot. Reed doesn't do everything alone. And Johnny Storm is definitely represented well in this film. He's the guy who gives in his all and sacrifices himself to protect everyone. In the comics, he made the ultimate sacrifice by locking himself in the negative zone after everyone else crossed through the portal. And the film brings this Johnny Storm to life, the guy who's always ready to sacrifice for others. Joseph Quinn delivered an excellent performance as Johnny Storm and became the definitive Human Torch of Marvel. I get that many people love Chris Evans as Human Torch and feel nostalgic about his character, but the Johnny from Chris Evans was way too self-absorbed and seemed like he just wanted to flirt with girls, which isn't the case in the comics. In the comics, Johnny is a ladies' man, but he's way more sentimental and easily falls for various characters, even aliens. Still, that's not all he is. Besides being the guy who sacrifices himself, he also works fixing cars, gadgets. He's always tinkering with some mechanical stuff, using his powers. The film also touches on the relationship between Johnny and Ben. There's some teasing moments between them, but also a lot of encouragement. And visually speaking, the outfit for Human Torch in the film has several stripes and textures in vertical line forms when Johnny's on fire, which is a nod to the character's look in the comics. So that's another cool reference regarding Human Torch. Sue Storm takes the lead in the film's emotional aspect. This is the first time in a live-action film where Sue Storm is shown as pregnant with their child, Franklin Richards. The film focuses on Sue and Franklin Richards, and that's the reason the film is titled First Steps. It revolves around the mother-son relationship. As I mentioned, Sue plays a significant role in relating to politicians, the public, and the press, engaging in diplomacy. This leadership side of Sue was heavily explored in the comics, especially in the 80s. She was responsible for the Fantastic Four's public relations, and the film portrays a more seasoned Sue Storm who knows how to handle fame and the pressures that come with it. She's more mature in how she uses her powers, justifying her status as the most powerful of the four. This also holds true canonically in the comics. Sue Storm is the only one whose powers have a direct cosmic connection, which makes her abilities effective against Celestials. This showcases just how absurd Sue Storm's powers are.
The Thing is another character we can confidently say has become the definitive version in Marvel, not just in terms of appearance, but also in personality and abilities. Plus, they portrayed him as a true New Yorker, that guy from Yancey Street, his fictional neighborhood where he grew up. Not to mention in the film, he's also shown as an excellent pilot, which was underplayed in previous adaptations but is a crucial aspect of the character in the comics. And he's Jewish, which is also part of his character in the comics. He's the one driving the Fantastic Car, and the scene where he pilots the Fantastic Four ship into space toward the black hole is amazing. One of the best scenes in the film, pure sci-fi. And the way they depicted the Thing in the film was spot on. Even though there weren't many action scenes, being a drama with elements of sci-fi, when it came to fighting, the Thing really went for it and proved to be super strong, managing to battle against Silver Surfer and land blows on Galactus. Of course, I would have loved to see more action scenes in the movie, especially showcasing the team using their powers more, but what we got was pretty dope. All the details about the Thing that we know from the comics were there in the movie, which is awesome because it shows respect and care for the character while also enriching all the background he carries with him. One thing we can all agree on is that Pedro Pascal is fantastic in this film. No pun intended, he's really good at what he does, a great actor, and he brought the best Reed Richards to the big screen, in my opinion. Sure, he's been in a lot of stuff lately, but you can't deny he did an amazing job. I was a bit worried I'd just see Pedro and not Reed Richards when I went to the theater, but he truly convinced as Reed and got his role in the plot perfectly. Reed is the brain of the team, the one that guides the crew when they feel lost. He's the guy always in front answering interviews whenever the topic involves action, contingency plans, technology. He's the one who takes responsibility and provides answers to the public. While Sue Storm is more about the drama in the film, Reed is the most important character who deals with the sci-fi element, which are the two pillars holding this film up. Reed Richards just wanted to transport the planet to another solar system so they could escape Galactus' gaze. That was pretty insane and genius. Not to mention his plan is what ultimately defeats Galactus, so he's definitely well-written and developed character in the story. He's a leader, the group's guide, and it would be a mistake if he weren't portrayed as someone super intelligent. Even though other characters have roles and important moments in the plot, everything related to that sci-fi element is directly tied to him.
The only issue with Mr. Fantastic in this film is that his powers were pretty nerfed, which is a bummer. He only stretches his arms and legs a little, while in the comics, Reed can stretch all of the city, and his body is indestructible. He's practically immortal, can alter the shape of his body, change into geometric forms, and has even changed into higher dimensional forms, stretching beyond the three-dimensional planes. So unfortunately, his powers are definitely nerfed for some reason. There are of course discussions online about the challenges VFX Team Space in depicting elastic powers, and there's evidence of this in MS Marvel, which portrayed her powers differently in the MCU. Kamala's powers in the MCU are more akin to Green Lantern than truly elastic powers, but we don't have an official explanation for these elastic effects. Fingers crossed things get better for Mr. Fantastic in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. That'll be the perfect opportunity to fully explore Reed's elastic powers. Another thing depicted in the movie involving Reed Richards touches on the ethics of majority. Reed obviously didn't want to sacrifice his own son to save the entire planet, which brings a certain Christian symbolism. You can clearly see in the movie the internal struggle that Reed Richards faces, because he understands the ethics of the majority, but doesn't want to deliver his son Franklin to Galactus. For those unaware, the ethics of majority is basically a principle where the preferred option of the majority of a group is considered the winning option or decision to be made. In other words, if more than half the group agrees on something, that's the position adopted. Reed, as a scientist, deep down knows that delivering his son would save everyone. But despite his internal conflicts and public rejection, he's a superhero and will do anything to save both his son and the planet. That's where Sue Storm's speech to the public comes in to solidify the group's final decision on everything going down. I've seen some people on social media saying it was forced for Marvel to make Franklin Richards the most powerful being in Marvel. and that it's kind of a stretch to consider him more powerful than Wanda, or even Galactus or a Celestials. But guys, that's just who he is. Franklin was created in the comics to be the most powerful and overpowered character. He just kind of nerves himself at certain points so he can have a normal childhood. But he's definitely the character who's going to take down everything you know about Marvel and take Galactus' place. There's a video here on the channel fully focused on Galactus and how he became the Devourer of Worlds, explaining why he's crucial in Marvel. It's a complete video, and you can find it in the card above to click. Watch the whole thing, and it'll help you understand what I'm saying about Franklin Richards. This was another big win for the film. They brought Franklin Richards to the MCU, which will soon tackle Secret Wars. So it's undeniable he'll play a critical role in the plot and probably reboot the entire Marvel universe. I'm also planning to bring a complete video about Franklin Richards based on the comics, so stay tuned, it'll be available here on the channel soon. The movie does a great job of adapting the villains while staying true to what they are in the comics. At the moment when the film contextualizes the universe and who the Fantastic Four are, it recreates the most iconic and valuable cover of the Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four Issue 1 release in 1961, where the team faces Giganto, one of Moleman's monsters. It's worth mentioning that in the comics, Subterranea, which is the realm governed by Moleman, featured various tunnels spread across the entire planet. Moleman, due to living underground with low visibility, is practically blind, like moles, and that's where the idea of him wearing glasses comes from. And for those who hadn't noticed before, this villain and the entire Fantastic Four were the biggest inspiration to The Incredibles. In The Incredibles, there's the villain Underminer, who is basically Moleman. Another villain that's in the movie is Diablo, who appears in the animation of the second post-credits scene. Diablo is a villain who tests Reed's knowledge as an alchemist. The clashes between the two comics often boil down to battles of technology versus alchemy. Aside from those, an important villain in the plot but got cut from the movie is Red Ghost, played by John Malkovich, and there's even a video on the channel that talks all about him. The movie would have had the Fantastic Four facing him at the beginning during the group setup, but for some reason all the scenes got cut, and he only ended up in a brief mention, which is the quick shot of Reed facing one of the villain's monkeys in the final cut of the film. It would have been really interesting to see that fight, the Fantastic Four versus Red Ghost, in the movie, especially considering it relates to the space race. Red Ghost was a Soviet scientist who went to space looking to replicate the powers of the Fantastic Four, and along with him, he has his mutant monkeys. So if you have the loss seeing Mr. Fantastic battling an orangutan out of nowhere, and now you have the explanation. All of the custom movie underones made the plot focus more on dialogue and world building from the start to the middle, so you get immersed and familiar with this new universe. That was pretty cool, but it definitely was a flaw for those expecting more action scenes from the Fantastic Four. Although the plot was serious and interesting, the film didn't find a great balance as it lacked more action scenes to showcase the dynamic of Marvel's first family. There was actually at the end, but just at the end.
Guys, both the Silver Surfer and Galactus are pretty menacing in this film. They were awesome villains for the plot. The action scenes featuring the Silver Surfer are incredible. She really is unstoppable, and you feel the desperation the Fantastic Four felt trying to escape from Herald of Galactus. The scene where they generate a wormhole to escape her at the last second was really good and is undoubtedly one of the best scenes in the entire MCU. I'm not joking, it's really good. Pure sci-fi at its core, and the effects were top-notch. The scene of her surfing through the wormhole reminded me of a moment in the comics where the Silver Surfer surfs inside a space-time rift. She surfs through the wormhole and then rides on the tail of a black hole. She's just amazing. And that's not the end of it. She also manages to destroy the Earth towers that were charging up to teleport the planet. She took out almost all of them in just a few moments, all in super speed. She really showcased the immense power of a Herald of Galactus, and speaking of the fact that it was Shallow Ball and not Norrin Rod at the film, man, that didn't bother me at all, considering this is an alternate universe, not the 616 of the MCU. And finally, we have a Galactus true to the comics, finally. No more Galactus being just a cloud. Marvel got it right and undoubtedly brought one of the best villains in the entire MCU. His first appearance in the film is genuinely threatening, and that feeling of danger stays present from his appearance all the way through to the end. He truly is a tremendous threat, and without a doubt, he's going to play an important role in the MCU.
This movie is really amazing and brings back the feeling that the golden age of Marvel is returning. The Fantastic Four have proven to be an awesome team, really well coordinated, and they're definitely more than ready to take on the leading role in Marvel. In my opinion, they can even be better than the Avengers. I've said it before in the spoiler-free video, but I'll repeat it here. It's a great film and I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. It's a well-made movie with a well-written script, good effects, and captivating characters. But now, I need to know your opinion. What do you think about Fantastic Four First Steps? Did you enjoy the movie? Write it in the comments and don't forget to leave your fantastic like, your fantastic subscription to the channel, and hit that fantastic bell because I'm already preparing more videos about the Fantastic Four and you don't want to miss that. We still need to talk about the post-credit scenes, Galactus, Franklin Richards, and more topics. So stay tuned because there's a lot of exciting stuff coming to the channel. Thanks so much for being here for this video. See you next time.